Okay, so in this video we'll continue with our project. So in the previous video we had built this, we have built this form, and we also saw like all this data is getting saved into our schema that we had created, and yeah, everything was working fine. And just to check whether those entries are present in our schema or not, we had implemented this plug get data. So we'll continue with that, but just before start of that, so yeah, this is not the uh, production way or the right way to use, right? Not in terms of implementation, but putting these things in the single page and everything. This is not a right way, right? So when we will design the actual module, we will not put this direct plug submit data or plugin get data on this layout module itself, right? We will create a proxy module, and there we will be putting all these plugins. But for our main scope for this project is to at least know what are these plugins and what are the different services, like if you want to create, read, update, delete. So whatever the CRUD operations that usually is like a building block of any technology, be it a traditional coding or maybe it's Unqork, low code, no code. So in that case, these are something very important things, right? So we are just checking that how to do it using the plugin component. What are those services and other things. And once we progress ahead, we'll see that best practices and everything as we move ahead. So yeah, taking into that consideration, what we will do for now, as we are saving all this data in this schema that we have created a separate module. So for this use case, let's make this as not mandatory. So I will explain you why I'm making this. Uh, Soon, so we'll take a different use case for it. So let's make it uh, not as mandatory. Okay, we are just taking that data save feature and also we'll just make it normal. Okay, and yeah, one more thing, yesterday we missed to toggle on this or like to select this test Google Places API. So that's why that address was not coming. So I missed to add that or toggle that button. So these things we are just checking this off just to make our form looks uh, clean and simple. So I'm just putting or like showing the country here, whatever the address I have selected. So only that country it will come here, and that's it. And let's make this button, or let's keep it here only. Okay, so now if we preview, let's preview this. Okay, looks okay. So if I enter the address here as Mumbai, then yeah, country is like something displayed and other details we have removed. Okay, so far so good. So what we will do, other things that we can do with plugin is, let's suppose this is our plugin, and when we are clicking, so our data is very less, and it is we are not doing any operation, right? It's just like plain saving of data into the schema. So it is very fast, but sometimes it takes time, right, in the actual uh, scenario. So in that case, let's suppose we want to display some things. We want to show some dialog while running. So here are those options which are present in plugin, which is like show model dialog while running. So if you toggle on this, you can put these things what you want to view. So once like data is saved, if you want to uh, display some message, right? So here you can put like maybe here it will write request is sent. Okay, in case of error we can write if error occurs, then this message we will put here, whatever the error message we want to put. So yeah, these are the things that we can put while using the plugins. So for now, just we'll check this or this configuration itself. We'll do this much only from the plugin perspective in this project, and as we move ahead we'll see other features. So yeah, if I put some random data here, so yeah, if I click on submit, then this is what we are getting, this message. Okay, so let's do one thing. What we'll do is, whatever the records that we have stored inside this schema, we want to display that. So from this is a user screen. So let's assume or have a scenario where the resort owner is able to see how many entries he has got, right? So for that, let's make a dashboard. So I'm going back again to the uh, app screen. So here we'll create that one, right? So here we'll write resort dashboard. Cool, I think this is fine for now. This is also a front end model we'll create. Okay, so let's just quickly put some header here as admin dashboard save. Okay, let me make this tag as it takes same time sometimes to just to load that properly. Okay, so I'm just making it h1 so it looks big. So now what we will do, as soon as the user or that admin comes on this dashboard, he should be able to see all the entries here, right? That is our end goal is. So let's use a plugin component here to first get all the data, right? So here we have already created, right? One, okay, let me open this. So here we have already created one plugin just to test that, right? How many entries are there, right? So this was the one, right? And we were able to see all the entries. So similarly here we will create that thing on this dashboard. Plug get dashboard data. Okay, so what happens, like there are two services which are basically used to fetch the data. So here we have used one service which is get module submissions. Okay, and one more service we have which is used to fetch all the data, and that is specifically for dashboard, because now once we fetch all the data, we want to show it on the front end. We want to render those list of records on our screen. So that's why we'll select this list submissions for dashboard service. Okay, and let's see what are the parameters we need to pass to use this. Okay, so here is that specification. Yeah, this is the one. So we need to have this as a query parameter where we need to pass the module ID. We need to configure here a module ID. So let's do it step by step. So here we'll write module ID. Let's take that module ID where we have saved all the records. This is our module ID. I'm just copying it from that another module. So here we'll put that module ID, and let's see what is the other mandatory one. Other is like fields. This is also very important property. Let me tell you that, or maybe let's do this and I will tell you like what is the issue with that if we just put these things. Okay, we'll click on save this. So now as soon as admin comes on the screen, the things this plugin should automatically get trigger, right? So in that case we'll make use of initializer component, which we have already seen, which is something used to do a certain operation on page load, or maybe on edit submission, new submission, and also on watch or maybe edit also you can use. So let's put it here as init on load. So with this name we can actually get to know, yeah, this is something which is getting triggered on load. So we'll put it as new submission, and here we'll put that plugin plug get dashboard data. We want to trigger that, so trigger and value as go. Okay, so these things are configured. Let's preview that. Okay, whether that plugin is getting triggered or not. So yeah, this is again we need to check it in the network calls. Let me refresh. Okay, so this is the call. So see, we have got this records, right? So this is the service that we have used and we have got this records, all the submissions which we have created. But here if you see, we are just getting the things, right, which is created module something, user ID, all those things we are getting, right? But we are not getting anything which is related to the data, right, which is related to the actual data which is saved. So for that we need to use the fields. So here we need to configure that fields here in the plugin. So here it is fields, and here what it says, we need to put every key that we want to pull from that submission or from that schema that we want to show. So what I want to show is, I want to show all this data, right? What we are saving is, yeah, we are saving this name, last name, age. So we want all those things to be pulled out when we load the page or once we call that. So here we will pass all that things as a string at a comma separated string. One is the name. So basically I have included this in single quotes. You can make it as double quotes also, no issues. And all these things I'm putting it as a comma separated. Other one was age. Where is that? Yeah, age. Then we have phone number, address from it. From date to date. Okay, so this we have done. Now let's see. Now we'll get those submissions, and that submissions would be having all those records as well, or not records, but those keys as well, whatever we have mentioned there. So now if you see, we have got all those things, right? So this is how we can control. So the submission might be having a lot of things, but whatever you want to fetch, that you can specify there, and those lists only will come here. Cool. So okay, we are good with that. So what is difference between that, right? Which is this one, like list submission for dashboard service. What is difference between this list submissions for dashboard and this service, right? Which is again not this one, sorry, which is plugin get data, get module submissions. So let me just quickly preview this so you will see that difference. Okay, so we need to again create some entry here, mm, so that our get call will get triggered as we have configured in the same way. Okay, so if I click on submit, this is a storage, I mean save call, I mean create submission call, and this is a submissions call. So here if you see, we have got that data. It is having few other details as well, this platform version created, all those stuff. And apart from that, the structure is also very nested, right? We have a data, inside that we have a raw data, and then we have this. So if we want to use this for a dashboard, we need to display all this data, right, on a dashboard. So we need to reach or like go through that JSON, this data at this level, and then we can take hold of this data. But instead, if you see this service, where is that? Where I have kept, yeah. So if you see this service here, we already have a plain data, right? It is a plain structure. We don't have a nested kind of structure here. So it is pretty easy for us to take that data. Now let's see how to display this data here, right? So in the Unqork, we have component inside this display and layout. So we have seen few components, but as I said, will come to this piece once we have a better knowledge, right, of other things. So now we have that, we have reached up to that level where we can start using this view grid component. So let me drag and drop here this view grid component. So what is use of this? It is used to show the data which is in the tabular format. So which means, as you know, we have fetched that record, right, which is this call. So here we got all these 13 entries, right? So we want to show these entries in a table. So that we can achieve with the help of view grid. So let's go here. Let's put the name as property name as VG data, and maybe let's put as booking entries. Okay, this is what I have given the name, and let's save this for now. So what one thing we'll do, so now in this plugin we have all the data, right, which is in the preview. So what we need to do is, if you just see the console, okay, in this Angular command, we'll see here we have this plug get dashboard data plugin call, and here inside that we have all this data. So now this variable is already there, right? So you can create a different variable altogether, which is something used to store all this data. But currently we have all this data, right, in this maybe plug get dashboard data variable, right? We already have that. So this variable, this is the source of our view grid, because we need to give the knowledge to this view grid, what data we want to show, right? Then only it will come to know, yeah, this data I want to render. So we have this kind of a layout. So just ignore this all these things for now. We have just entered this entries, this label and VG data. Let's come to here. This is very important. So here we need to put that source name. So what is our source name? It is plug get dashboard data, because in the console we can see all this data is present inside that. And yes, this is required, because if this data is not there, then there is no use of this view grid. So I have checked this as required. So here I need to put the headings and IDs. So what how to use that is, what is heading, right? So here we need to write maybe first name. Okay, so this would be acting as a columns in my table. Here I will write as last name. Okay, and what were the other fields? Let me just quickly check. Then we were having age, and then we were having age, and then maybe we are having phone number. Okay, we have a lot, but let's suppose we just want to display this four properties over here, right? So we'll create this kind of a table here. Okay, so this is something first column, second, third and fourth. So four columns of our table are created. And what data we want to show here? So in the first name we want to show the name of person, right? So what key is something storing that name of person, right? Is a name key which is storing the first name. So here I will write this actual property ID. So this should be something similar. This should match to the actual key which is there in this plug get dashboard data. So I have put their name, and the second one is last name, and the next one is age. So we'll write this key. So better is to copy paste that, because it will not cause any issue. Some typos and all will be ignored, so better to copy paste that. And next is phone number. Where is phone number? Have we not entered phone number for this record? Because I don't see the entry for it. But let's see the other one. Are we not pulling that record? Let's save this. I think we are not pulling that phone number. Seems like that. Might be this is wrong. Let's see. Let me check in this module. Submit data. Are we storing that phone number or not? Okay, we are storing it with mobile number. So this thing we did, Instead of writing here phone number, we need to write mobile number. Why we did that? Because yeah, phone number is something we are capturing on front end, but in the schema we are storing it with the name as mobile number. So we had write here that phone number, so that is why it was not getting pulled. So we have replaced this and now it will come, that data will come. But yeah, we know that now we will put it here in as a phone number. So yeah, we have decided or created a source here, and now we have created what columns and what data should be there in the columns. That's it, right? So we'll just save this, click on save. Now let's preview this. So see, our data is getting rendered on the screen, right? So this is blank because I had just put some random data here, so that is why it is coming blank here. But we'll get rid of this, we'll delete these things, we'll delete these rows. So in that case we will get to know how to delete this, right? These rows are present into the submission, so using the delete API we'll delete these things. So yeah, now we are getting all these things. So this submit button is coming here, so you can ignore this for now. So if you want to hide that button, action button there, which is a default submit, here we need to put null. Okay, so that I will explain you as we go ahead, but this is how we need to show the data on the dashboard. Okay, so we have get rid of that button, so now we can see all this data. Okay, so in the upcoming videos we'll see how to update any entry. So from here, let's suppose the admin user wants to do a certain update on this record, right? Whether it is approved, rejected, so you need to update that record also. So from the next video you'll see that.